Alright then, so today is quite of a busy day. I don't really have time to go into the details of things, so let's get right to it and see what's waiting for us. Right, today we are going to discuss the whole. Well, not just any whole, but the whole as a word, the only Hungarian word, this one, that actually means whole, and it starts with ly. As you might have noticed in the alphabet, there is this brilliant letter, ly, among other things, and there is one, the J, and then the ly. I mean, pronounced as ye and ye, which is brilliant. Because of tradition, we've got no other options but to actually deal with this. So first task is to translate this one, and the second task is to try to find out how to determine whether is something that's pronounced with a ye is written or spelled with ly or j. Alright, so let's get right into it. So something about the whole. Well, I recognize this as yesterday, yeah, sure, and this one is actually to find something. So yesterday we found a whole, remember the T, at the end of the object of the sentence, and then this crazy compound word, which is the ice rink or ice skating rink. Ice and then higher. I mean, of course, yeah, sure, it's a rink, but you know what I mean. So there was a hole in the ice skating rink. Well, you know, it happens if it's on a lake. And then this is not something. This is not correct or proper. Then maintenance. So this is not maintenance. And what about this one? Oh boy. So for or because of actually, or on account of. So this is because of the not correct maintenance. And that's the beauty of Hungarian, isn't it? Sometimes you have to go and reach the end of the sentence before you can actually figure out what it means, because this word, even though if this was the end of the sentence, it would be a correct sentence. This is not correct maintenance, but because of these two words, this changes the whole thing, and as becomes connected with these ones. So that will be the cause of whatever this is, and whatever this is that we found a hole on the ice skating rink. So there you go. In Hungarian, or in Hungary, when you go to school, technically, I forgot my glasses. Technically, you have a bunch of subjects you can learn in school. Art, PE, physics, mathematics, and whatever. But we are interested in not the literature, which in English it would be English class, but the grammar. Because we have two grammar classes, or when I went to school, we had two grammar classes along with the three literature classes, probably taught by the same teacher. Because whoever teaches literature, usually they teach grammar as well. So, in grammar classes, what can you learn about Hungarian? You can't learn spelling because, well, yeah, sure, in first grade probably, but this is throughout the whole 12 years of education, up until the very end of high school. So just 12 years of grammar, or at least some sort of literature thing. And even though Hungary has a great history and a really complicated grammar, the question is, what can you learn? And one of the things that you have to learn is not just the grammar itself, but these words. What is written with ly and what is written with j. And they are the same letter. Yes, in some cases they are pronounced a little bit differently, but not in modern day Hungarian. So that's the problem. There is source for this, and I linked it here. Basically, the source is whatever you can find, but in this case this would be a fairly comprehensive list of j or ly. So there are three rules. Rule number one, and let me write it here. So rule number one is words start with j. no doubt about it, except this one. That's the only word, that's the only exception, which is brilliant. However, in the middle, it's based on tradition. I mean, here it will try to list things. For instance, when it comes to one-syllable words, it's usually a J, except in these other cases. So I would rather go with list than flooding you with these. And the last one, endings never have ly. They always have J. In this case, jeg must be J because of the first rule. Pályán could be J or ly. Helyes could be J or ly because of the tradition rule. And then everything else, for instance, in possessive, that we encountered quite a lot of time, ja, yeah, or yay, or any of these will always feature the J because no endings have ly. So that kind of helps somewhat. But if you look at these, even if we put anything, any ending, any attachment on these, the word juk will remain juk. So that's consistent. And then there are loads and loads of words, mostly traditional words, that either have J or ly. I guess you don't really have questions, but if you did, at least one, it might be, oh no, do I really have to learn all these words? And the answer is yes. Or, well, you don't have to learn them, but it's always good to have vocabulary if you want to speak a language. And I usually do not encourage people to learn words and only words, so my advice would be try to create sentences with these, or try to recognize them and take a note whenever you encounter them in a written text. That text is always written, isn't it? Well, whatever. So yeah, that's today's lesson. I hope it helped somewhat, and I at least has given you some resources about what's going on regarding this traditional behavior of Hungarian. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.